6.
And first at 6, government take-home vehicles, a necessity or a job perk for a free ride home? Thanks for choosing ABC 3340. I'm Christopher Sine. As the I-Team's Cynthia Gould uncovers, one fire chief's take on this practice is costing taxpayers with questionable benefits. Cynthia?
Chris, many of us see police and government vehicles parked in our neighborhoods. They give an added sense of security and afford a quicker response to emergencies. But what if those vehicles are parked for days in a remote location outside their jurisdiction? Is that wasted money? 40 miles from the city of Pelham down I-65 South in another county, you'll find 2 Pelham City Fire vehicles, a truck and an SUV parked in Chilton County. They're behind the Clanton Fire Department, pretty much hidden from public view. It's a curious situation, so far from home, so many days a week. On random checks, we found the 2 vehicles arrived June 18th at 3:58 and 4:34 p.m. The 19th at 4:28, one worker swaps out the city truck for a personal vehicle. June 21st, the SUV is here around lunchtime, 12:58 p.m. The July 6th holiday weekend, both vehicles are here at 8:10 p.m. The 16th, the truck is parked at 4:03. The SUV arrives. A few days later, the truck is here in the afternoon and also on the 22nd. This unmanned Clanton Fire Department has no gates or security cameras. We rarely saw anyone else. Hi, Chief Honeycutt. This is Cynthia Gould at ABC 3340. We asked Pelham's fire chief what is going on here. He wouldn't agree to an interview on camera, but in our phone conversation said he alone gave the 2 workers approval, saying it was our way of helping the employees and saving them money. One lives in Montgomery, the other in Prattville. So driving back and forth 80 miles round trip, 4 days a week for 8 months, as the chief told us, the 2 vehicles have racked up 20,000 miles by our calculation. Fuel, wear and tear, the costs add up, and the vehicles aren't available for anyone else to use.
In the absence of a citywide policy, we trust our professionally paid department heads to make those decisions, as we should.
Mayor Waters seemed more interested in who had tipped us off rather than the cost to taxpayers.
Know your source.
We're told the 2 employees, one a fire prevention officer, the other a training officer, are on call. So that justifies the expense, even though they're not actually taking the vehicles to their homes.
If you're asking me, would I do that? Would I allow that? No. I'm sorry, but I couldn't. I had a limit on how far they could live.
Former Mayor Bobby Hayes and 2 others sit on the personnel board in Pelham. They acknowledge the practice may raise questions, but had no authority over it.
Bottom line is none of us are in a position to be able to answer your questions.
We asked City Hall if the 2 employees had ever actually been called in after hours. We did not get an answer. We checked with several other agencies across central Alabama who, unlike Pelham, all spoke openly and candidly about what's allowed. A sample: Tuscaloosa's written policy is the most thorough, layers of rules with a limit of living 25 miles from the city. Centerpoint's fire chief says he limits employees to 5 miles away, and Montevallo's vehicles can only be used in the city limits and on city business. UA Law Professor Susan Hamill spoke with us broadly on the personal use of public property in Alabama.
The culture of entitlement, like a virus, spreads. We just haven't had historically a culture that rewards ethics, that values ethics.
Hamill says there must be accountability. Perks like a vehicle shouldn't be viewed as a supplement to a worker's salary and only used for public business.
The cost of that is huge, because your voters, your people, do not trust their government. They believe their government is ripping them off.
Under Alabama codes, public officials and employees cannot use their position for personal gain. We are still waiting for an explanation on just how Pelham gains from this setup. Local cities we talk to have a wide range of policies. Some, like Pelham, are not in writing. So the question, don't you want a lot of layers looking over this?
Absolutely. You're talking about taxpayer money and taxpayer purchases regarding those specific vehicles. I want to ask you, is this an ethics violation?
Well, good question. But to look at a specific case, the Ethics Commission has to have a signed complaint. You can't do it anonymously. And they will also issue advisory opinions if a public official wants to be sure in advance if they're in line with the law.
Cynthia Gould holding the powerful accountable, and I know that you're not done yet. As a matter of fact, the ABC 3340 I-Team is investigating wasted taxpayer money. If you have questions about the spending in your community, reach out to us. We do, in fact, want to hear from you. Email the I-Team at abc3340.com or call 205-783-5550. On city vehicle use in Pelham after an ABC 3340 I-Team investigation. Our Cynthia Gould exposed some questionable practices. Cynthia?
Well, Chris, a major overhaul of Pelham's vehicle policy was approved last night. Employees with take-home vehicles can no longer live more than 35 miles outside the city limits. Our report revealed 2 fire employees leaving city vehicles behind the Clanton Fire Department, sometimes for days. From there, they drove personal vehicles home to Prattville and Montgomery. These 2 were not on call 24/7. One council member asking how could they respond to emergencies being so far away from the city. Those 2 vehicles have now been ordered back to the city of Pelham. The policy was approved unanimously by the city council. If you have questions about how your tax money is being spent, give us a call here at the I-Team. In the newsroom, Cynthia Gould, ABC 3340 News.